WhyGuru Sahib Ji, Satnam Sri WhyGuru Sahib Ji. Ek oankar Satnam Karta Purakh Nirbhau Nirvair Akal Mourat Ajuni Sapang Gur Prasad. Jap Ad Sach Jugad Sach Happy Sach Nanak Hosi Pi Sach. Jap Ad Sach Jugad Sach Happy Sach Nanak Hosi Pi Sach. तू ही है मात पिता गुरु तू ही है पोखनहार गुसैया तेरो ईमान अरतान है तेरो ही आस भरोसा कहैया निमाने को मान निताने को तान निथावे को थाव तू ही सब गैया पाव परो परमेश्वर तो है का बारंबार तुझा बल जैया पाव परो परमेश्वर तो है क्या बारंबार तुझा बल जैया मूक उच्चरा शास्त्र खट पिंग गिरन चढ़ जाए अंध लखा बदरो सुना जो काल कृपा कराए अंध लखा बदरो सुना जो काल कृपा कराए. WhyGuru Ji Ka Khalsa, WhyGuru Ji Ki Fateh. So Sangat Ji, we're back again, the third week of Salok Mahalla Nawa. I say again because we know it's a Ladivar Bani. So a Ladi means it's continuous, so we're carrying on from where we left off. Last week we did the second Salok of this Bani. I'll give a quick recap before we move on to this week, because when it's a Larivar Katha of a Bani, the message links to the previous Salok, the previous body. So whatever Maharaj taught us last week, it will be relevant today as well. So it's really important that we know what was spoken about last week, that we know what Maharaj was speaking about in the previous Salok. Before we do the recap, the question for today, so the question on the poster is, what's better, youth or old age? And it's a tricky question, and I'm sure it's crossed all of our mind at some point, and we'll look into answering that today. So a quick recap. In the first week, we went through the beginning of the Bani, the very first Salok, where Maharaj spoke about Guna Gobind Gayo Nahi, Janame Akar Thikin, telling us if we're not singing the praises, the Guna of Gobind, the protector of the world, of Akal Purakh WhyGuru, then we're wasting our life. Our life, Janam Akaratikin, it's being wasted. But in the same breath, they said that if we're present and if we're singing the Gun, if we're truly present, then our life is not being wasted. So we went through this in the form of where we put the Vishram. And the main takeaway from that week was to be present, to actually live instead of surviving. And that's going to link back into today as well. And then they also spoke about how we should love Guru Sahib, when they said Salok M9, when they speak about the relationship between a fish and water. And that's the kind of love we will then develop the more present we are as we're living this life. The more appreciation we have for everything, the more we say, Vah, how amazing is it? We'll then have that love for everything very naturally, the way a fish can't be separated from water. Last week, we then went into the second Salok, Here Maharaj was giving us a very profound lesson. They were making us aware that in every moment we are attached and engrossed in our senses, in our five senses, Shabad, Parchar, Rasa, Rupa, Gandha, our sight, our ears, our nose, our mouth, all the five senses that we have. They say nimak, that not even, a nimak is the time it takes for you to blink your eye. It's less than a second. They say even for the time it takes for you to blink your eye, you're not detached from these five senses. We're constantly engrossed in them. As a result, we're being controlled by our mind, because then we have to do everything that our senses are telling us to do, and we can't do what our true self would like us to do. And in the first session, we went through what ek really means. We went through ek oankar sat gur prasad. Ek, not just one, but that one resides in everyone and everything. That one is inside of us as well. So Maharaj was making us very aware. They were telling us to speak to our mind and be aware of the fact that we're constantly engrossed in our senses. What does that result in? Because our senses are external and they're constantly taking us out, it results in us being engrossed in the Panch Chor. Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moh, Ahankara. Desire, greed, attachment, ego, and anger. The more outwardly facing we are, the more we're going to be attacked by these. So last week was really great because Maharaj was giving this awareness to us. They're blessing us so that we know that we're being controlled by the mind and how to break from it. This week, Guru Sahib helps us answer that question of what's better, old age or youth. But the last thing we said in the last session was Dukalang Pranasi. We refer to Guru Sahib Akal Purakh WhyGuru as Dukalang Pranasi. If we break it down, Dukal, 2 times, the past and the future. Pranasi is the destroyer. So when we refer to Guru Sahib as Dukalang Pranasi, what we're saying is that you are the destroyer of these 2 times, the 2 times being the past and the future, which means we're only left with the present. We're only left with now. Somebody once told me this very beautiful thing that if God had a watch, the time would always be now. There is no yesterday and there is no tomorrow. And that's exactly what Guru Sahib was telling us in the first Salok when they're telling us to be present. The more present we are, the more we'll be able to connect to that one inside of us. Because again, I'll repeat it, that one, God, is not separate from us. He's not a man who sits in the sky and grants our wishes or punishes us. That's not true. That one, that ek, that Jot Sarup, is closer than you think, closer than your own hands and your feet, right inside of you. And that's what Maharaj will be teaching us today. That one, when we say the Mool Mantar and we say Akal, we're not referring to God being Akal outside of time. It's that one inside you. Your Nij Sarup, your Jot Sarup, your true self is not bound by time. It's only this physical body which is bound by time because there was a beginning and there will be an end. But when we say Guru Sahib is the destroyer of 2 times, then all we know is now. So even to pose that question of what's better, youth or old age, Guru Sahib's already given us the answer. They said, does it really matter? Because all that exists is now. Was there youth? Will there be old age? All that matters is now, this very moment that we have. So we'll start with the first Pankti of the 3rd Salok. Tarna po eo hi gayo, leo jara tan jeet. We'll break it down. Tarna po being youth, the younger days. Eo hi gayo. So here Maharaj is so beautiful with the language that they speak because it's Punjabi. We'll just say Eddai chal gaya si. And here that's the way Maharaj says Eo hi gayo. Okay, Eddai, my youth has just passed. They're telling us it's just gone by in the blink of an eye, the click of a finger. It's just gone by. That's what it means when Maharaj says Tarna po eo hi gayo. They're explaining to us that this time of youth, this time when we're young, we're energetic, we're active, we're creative, this time has just gone by really, really fast. But then we have to think, where did it go? What does Maharaj mean when they say Eddai gaya, eo hi gayo? What do they truly mean? We need to link it back to the previous Salok from last week. They ask us the question. They make us aware that we're absorbed in our senses. And then today they come and tell us that we've lost all this time. It's just gone by really fast because we're engrossed in our senses. Because through our childhood, through all this time, this youthful period of our life, we've spent it being engrossed in our senses. Video games, pizza, good food, everything external that your senses want, it receives, especially when you're young. And Maharaj is saying that's exactly where your time has gone. So there's 2 ways to take it. we can have that awareness that now where we are, every time before this has passed this way. And if we're still young, then take it as a warning. Take it as Maharaj telling you that don't let your time pass like this. Don't let your time pass being engrossed in your senses. Don't let that childhood, because it's a very precious time. Guru Sahib will explain to us in a shabad what this time is and what happens next and how quick does it pass. But first they're making us aware that time is just flying. Leo jarata najeet. That means the old age. Jeet means jit gaya. So the old age, that old period of our life is winning over our body. The choice of words here is amazing. It's so specific. Maharaj has specifically said that old age has won over the body because they're relaying a message. They're trying to tell us that what you can do now, what you could do 2 years ago, you can't do now. And that's always going to be the case because our body is constantly changing every day. Whether or not we notice it, maybe we catch up 5 years later and say, oh, I could run a mile in these many minutes and now, it's getting a bit slower. We only realize later, but Guru Sahib is telling us on a daily basis. They're saying your body is constantly changing. What you could do a few years ago, 2 years, 1 year, you can't do it today. And that is the reality. That is something even I can say yes to. That what I could do, now I can't. Because Maharaj is saying it's winning over your body. Your back starts hurting. You can't sit in a chongra for very long. Your knees start hurting. All these small things, Maharaj is saying that why is now the time? Because as time passes and old age wins over your body, and by old age, they don't mean like somebody who's 90. It just means that every day that's not today, you're a day older. Tomorrow, you'll be a day older than today. And that's something that we truly have to understand, that it's not 5 years from now, 10 years from now, it's every minute counts. Every day counts. That even tomorrow, you're different from today. And that's why Maharaj is drilling this message, that where our body is being won, it's being taken over. So this week they're telling us about how life passes by so quickly and we don't even realize it. Why don't we realize it? Because we're still stuck in our senses. We're still engrossed. We're still being controlled by the mind, by the Panchajor. They tell us now is the time for everything. So in a beautiful shabad that Benji will put up, Guru Sahib talks to us about the different age groups. They say, Das balatan bis ravan. So they tell us at the age of 10, you're a child. Das, at the age of 10, balatan. That up until 0 to 10, you're known as a child. Bis ravan. That when you're 20, so 10 to 20, around your 20s, you're in your youth. Then they say, Tisa ka sundar kahava. That then, when you're moving from your 20s to your 30s, everybody calls you beautiful, they call you handsome. Here, Guru Sahib is talking about how we change. So if we have that question of what's better, youth or old age, then we need to ask who's young and who's old. And who do we ask? Our Guru. And here, Guru Sahib is clearly telling us. They're telling us at 10, you're a child. At 20, you're in that youthful period. In your 20s going to your 30s, you just keep getting older and older. They go at 40, you're full of life. But then what happens at 50? They say, Pachasi pag kisa. At 50, your foot slips. Kisa like kiskaga. It literally slips. And then they say finally at 60 is when old age hits you. So between 50 to 60 and onwards, that's what Guru Sahib counts as old. But all of this is just us asking our Guru this question. Whereas Guru Sahib has already answered the question in the very first statement, Dukaling Pranasi, that it doesn't matter how old you are. It doesn't matter whether we get that answer of what's better, youth or old age. There's nothing better than the present moment. We can't say youth is better than old age or old age is better than youth. Maharaj is saying there's no better time than now. So on that note, I would say that everything you're thinking of doing, which is good for you, do it now. Don't wait. It could be something as simple as hiking, something that we could take for granted. Do it before your knees give way. If there's something you want to try that will help you grow in a very positive way, anything Gurmat Anusar that you want to do to grow your Sikhi, Maharaj says now is the time. There's no time to be waiting. And let's reflect back as to when Guru Sahib wrote this Bani. Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji, our 9th Guru, wrote this as the very final Bani that they were going to leave with us. This was Guru Sahib's final message to us. That's why it's so hard-hitting. That's why Maharaj uses very specific words, because it was their last message that they were ever going to say to us. These were the last things that they wanted us to hear. That they don't want us to waste away our time asking questions or thinking, what about tomorrow? Oh, but what about all these, 5 years I haven't done it. How do I do it now? I haven't been to Sandhya in so many months. How do I go now? I haven't done Japji Sahib in, we have all these questions that I haven't gone to the Gurdwara in so many days. How do I go now? How do I do it? I don't know how to. What face will I show Maharaj? Sometimes we're scared to go somewhere because we don't know how it works. And that still applies to me as well. I still just this week actually had a moment where I was to join a new Sandhya class and I was so scared. Considering Maharaj Kirpa, I've been doing Sandhya, but still I had so much fear. I was like, how is it going to be? It's a whole new crowd. There's different people. What do I do? You just do what you always do. You go there and the Sangat will carry you. You go there and there's always somebody you can ask. Virji, Penji, where do I sit? What do I do? Where's the Pothi Sahib? Could you please teach me? Could you help me? You come to the Guru Kar, you don't know which hall is the program happening. Ask somebody. That's all we have to do. But what holds us back is that thing of, I haven't done it in so long. Or thinking, oh, I have tomorrow. Today I'm a bit busy. This week I'm a bit busy. I'll slot it in for next week, Tuesday. That's the day I'm going to go. Maharaj says, no. Tarana po eo hi gayo. Thinking about all the time that's passed is why time is passing. Leo jara tanajit. And that way, our body is being won over. The more we keep thinking, oh, tomorrow or next week, who even knows if it's going to come? There's no guarantee that tomorrow will come. So Guru Sahib says, do it now. Why are we always thinking about the future? When Maharaj tells us in the very first pankti of this Bani, Guna Gobind Gayo Nahi, Janam Akarat Keen. They tell us if we're not present, if we don't know that the now exists, if we're not living in the present moment, we're wasting our life. But still, 2 saloks later, we still have these questions. Which is not wrong, because Maharaj is so dayalu, they're so merciful that 2 saloks later and through the rest of the Bani, they'll still keep answering our questions. They'll still keep repeating themselves in order for us to get a better understanding. That's why today we'll link so much to the first salok, because now is when Maharaj is saying that use this moment as if it's the only moment that exists. When we think of the now, we need to understand that yesterday doesn't exist and tomorrow doesn't exist. It's only now. And on that note, I'll recommend a book called The Power of Now. It's an English book, but it's really good. It brings you in that mindset of now is the only moment that exists. So I do recommend, do check it out. And it does align with everything that we've said. Everything that we've spoken about, linking to how we have to do everything now. It just gives you a better grounding, a better perception on it. Maharaj then goes on to say, Kaho Nanak bhaj har mana. Again, in the 3rd salok, Guru Sahib is talking to our head. They're telling us to address our mind specifically. They're saying, speak to your own self. They're not saying that go and share this with other people. Even as we share, the reason we share is so that we can understand it better. So even as I sit here now and say these words to you, what I'm truly doing is telling my mind. Hey, kaho nanak bhaj har mana. Ke hey mere mana, bhajla, hun vi bhajla. Bhaj meaning meditate. Do that bhakti, do that simran. You didn't do it yesterday, it's okay. Don't think about tomorrow. Don't think about the fact that you couldn't do it yesterday, because that's only going to pull you back. You can think that, oh, I couldn't do it yesterday, but that's why we've got now. this present moment, this very day. Let's focus on what we have instead of thinking about what we don't have and thinking about what could be. Maharaj is saying, speak to your mind and tell your mind that now in this very moment, and as we tell our mind in every moment, that means all the time, that's what we'll be doing. When Maharaj says, Saas, Saas, Simaro, Gobind, with each and every breath, Saas, Saas, as your breath comes in and out, sometimes we might think that's like close to impossible. That's really, really difficult. But if we go back to Guru Tegh Bahadur Maharaj Ji, who's telling you that Har Paj, Paj Har Mana, they're telling you to speak to your mind in every moment. Every time you feel like your mind is moving away, remind yourself, remind your very own mind that now is the only time that matters. And what do I have to do? Meditate. Remember the one. Sing the one's praises. Just be present. Be open to saying Va. Be open to let things touch your heart to the point where you're like, wow, this is amazing. Everything amazing is right in front of us. We just close our eyes to it. We don't have to go anywhere to find that amazing stuff. It's always right in front of us. We just need to open our eyes and actually see it. Open your heart. Feel very deeply so that everything can hit you to that point where you say, wow, it really is amazing. Even just sat here in Sangat, telling your mind that that one is inside me, but at the same time, inside all of my brothers and all of my sisters, everybody in this hall right now has that one inside of them. Is that not amazing? If we just take a second to think about it, that all of us just have that one essence. Everything inside of me is inside of you as well. Scientifically, spiritually, when Maharaj speaks of that ek, in this moment we can have that understanding, we can recognize that, wow, truly we are just one. Everything else is just a physical difference, a distraction, something taking us outwards because of our senses. He looks different, she looks different, she's wearing a different color. It's all external. If we close our eyes and just try and absorb that energy, open your heart to understanding, to feeling that truly there is only one. And where does that one come from? Dhan Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj, who sat right in front of us. That one light that is in Guru Granth Sahib Ji Maharaj, a piece of that is in each and every one of us sat right here. If we could truly understand this, tell me there's nobody here who would say, Vah, WhyGuru, you are so amazing. The problem is we don't have that capacity to understand it because we're stuck in everything that Guru Sahib has mentioned. We're stuck in time, in the past, in the present. We're stuck in the senses. We're stuck in the Panch Jor. We're stuck in everything that will take us out. But the minute we sit down and go inside, everything will be beautiful. And that's when Maharaj then says, Guna Gobind Gayo Vishram Nahi Janame Akar Thakin. They say now when you're truly saying wow, when you're truly saying this life is amazing, you're singing these praises of Akal Purakh WhyGuru and saying, wow, Guru Sahib, you are so amazing. Then your janam, then this life, nahi janame akar thakin. That nahi is so important. We need to bring that no into our life, that no, I'm not going to waste my life. I'm not going to waste these precious, beautiful moments being blessed to me. And what's the answer? All we have to do is be present. It sounds very simple, doesn't it? But all Guru Sahib is saying, just be there in the moment. And they're saying, Kaho Nanak Paj Har Mana, all the Jat hai beat. We might ask why. Why can't we do it tomorrow? Why can't we do it in 5 minutes' time? They're saying, all the Jat hai beat. That because time is flying. They've already told us that in the first Pankti, but now they're just saying it again. That life is moving without you. Time is going whether or not you recognize it. Moments are passing. And we spoke about this last week as well. When we do our part, we say Aud Kata Din Saranare. We read it every single day when we're going to bed. When we read Kirtan Sohela, we say this Pangati, Aud Kata Din Saranare. That time, life is diminishing day and night. Dins, day, Ranare, night. That we're losing our breath as the day passes and as the night passes. So there's no time where we can't stop time. There's no time where we can say time's not passing. The night is going to pass, tonight will pass, and tomorrow will be a whole new day. But what have we done in that much time? What have we accomplished? By sleeping? When we wake up at Amrita Vela, hopefully, let's evaluate these things. Let's say, what have I accomplished just by sleeping? It's really amazing to rest. We have to in order for our body to function. But then let's think, what have I done in this previous day? Because Maharaj is telling you time's flying. The clock is ticking. Then that will put us in line so that the first thing we think about in the morning is, what did I do yesterday? What did I do before I went to bed that made me feel like, okay, I do deserve these many hours of sleep? And what am I going to do today to make it even better? What am I going to do today being the present moment, to make it count? So that Maharaj doesn't have to keep on telling me that your time's just passing and what am I doing? Then we might have another question, that this is the third time that Guru Sahib has said, meditate. Bhaj They've switched the words around, but they've told us the exact same thing 3 times, one after the other. They keep telling us, speak to your mind on a daily basis and tell your mind you need to meditate. You need to attach your concentration to that one, the one inside of you. We might ask why. It's not wrong to have these kind of questions, especially when Guru Sahib is repeating it so much. Naturally, the question will arise that why? Why is Guru Sahib putting so much emphasis on doing this meditation? What am I going to get out of it? Why do we meditate? And then on top of that, Maharaj is insisting on doing it now with urgency, which means that there is some importance to it. But let's look at why we have to meditate. Why does Guru Sahib keep telling us that join with that one, understand that true one, experience that one? Why is Guru Sahib saying this? When we speak about meditation, when we speak about joining with Guru Sahib, it's to ask the bigger question of what is that doing for us? What does it do for us when we sit down and we say WhyGuru? When we break it down, we can know the meaning. That Va, you're so amazing. Hey, you're here with me right now. Gu, you're taking me out of darkness. Ru, you're taking me into this light. What is that light? That darkness of agyanta, that darkness of anxiety, depression, sadness, stress, anger, Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moh, Ahankara, all of this is darkness. Then what's that Ru? What's that light? Understanding that one. We call it Brahm Gyan because that means knowledge of the one. Brahm being the one, Gyan meaning knowledge. It takes you out of all of the negative things, everything that's stressing us out, bringing us down, and takes us into the light. So that Ru of understanding that truly it is only one. But what does that mean? Because in order to merge with the one, in order to truly understand this concept, I've repeated it multiple times from here, but that doesn't mean that I 100% get it. It doesn't mean that I've experienced that we are all one. And we can keep telling ourselves, but we have to understand, what does it truly mean? What does it truly mean to merge with that one? In order to merge with that one, we have to be rid of all of our karam. And we usually hear this phrase just thrown around loosely, ke karam di khedya, karman di khedya, karam di galya. We always use the word karam, but what is karam? Karam is simply an action. There's man, bach, karam. Man being your thoughts, bach being your bachan, your words, and karam being the actions that you commit with your body, with your hands, your legs, the places that you're walking towards, you're committing the action with your leg. What you do with these hands is an action. So your karm is an action, which means it's repetitive. It then becomes a pattern. But karm essentially is an energy. And that energy is what drives you into that pattern of committing these certain actions over and over again. So as I said, in order to merge, in order to understand the true one, we have to be rid of all of our karm. Meaning all of our karm in the past lives, including this life as well, and the karm that we're committing now as well. Me speaking, moving my hands, these are karm. So then I'll ask Guru Sahib, how do I have no karm? Because even right now, in this minute, I'm still committing more karm. By doing these actions, by moving my mouth and speaking these words, these are still karm. Then I sit and ask Guru Sahib that it feels like it's impossible. Because I'm just committing more and more and more karm, but I haven't got rid of the previous karm. How do I know how many karm I still have from my previous lives and this one as well? In all these years that I've lived, God knows how many karms I've accumulated. Maharaj in their Bani says, Kor dukhyang anikhatyang janam daridrang mahabikhyadang mitant sagala simrant harnaam nanak jaise pavak kast pasman karot. Sounds like a mouthful, like a lot. But if we break it down, Guru Sahib is talking about karm. Guru Sahib is saying, Kor dukhyang, this excruciating pain that we're in, could be physical, could be mental, could be due to the separation. The fact that we are separated from Maharaj is causing us pain. They're saying everything that we're going through, it could be poverty, it could be misery, it could be all these painful, sad things that we're going through. They say they can all mitant, that they can all be taken away. How? They use the beautiful word, they say simrant harinam. Simrant, again simran. Simran, meditation, remembrance. Harinam, of that Hari Akal Purakh WhyGuru da naam. Everything can go away if we meditate on the name of that one. If we put that uddam, that effort to connect to the one, Maharaj will make everything go away. And the analogy they give is so beautiful. They say, Jase pavaka kast pasman karot. Meaning, if this room was full of wood, let's say had stacks of wood, like piles, and somebody lit a match and threw it in, everything would burn. All that wood would burn to ash. Maharaj is saying that's exactly what happens with our karm. All these karm, all these actions, good and bad, especially the bad ones that we've accumulated through all of this time, Maharaj is saying by doing that simran, by connecting to that one, by japping that naam, by saying WhyGuru and truly feeling it, we're essentially standing at the door, lighting that match and throwing it in. And Maharaj gives us that guarantee that the whole room will burn, all of the wood will burn. Again, bringing us back to not looking at the past, not looking at everything that we've done or everything that we haven't done, because Maharaj is giving us this guarantee that all we have to do is start somewhere and they will make the rest happen. We just have to surrender and put in that effort, that uddam. We have to come to them. And it's in the smallest things that we do. Coming to the Guru Kar is amazing in itself. It might not feel like much, but Guru Sahib tells us, Ape sangat sad bahalla, ape veda karava, that we're so blessed to be sat here because Guru Sahib themselves have brought us here. We don't look at it like that. We think there's weekly katha every Thursday. Okay, I'm gonna go. Which is great, it's amazing. Please do carry on coming. But as we make our way here, as we sit here, let's understand that Guru Sahib themselves has brought you here. There could have been a reason why you couldn't have made it today. Anything could have happened. But Guru Sahib, ape sangat sad bahalla. Aap themselves, they've called you into their sangat. And that's a blessing in itself. Guru Sahib says, Charan saran gur ek panda jaye chal, Satgur kot panda aage hoy let hai. That we just have to take that one step into the Charan saran of our Guru, into the sanctuary of our Guru, and they themselves will carry us the whole way. They themselves will make everything happen. The same way, we just have to sit down to do our bhakti. We just have to have that furna, that thought, that intention. We just have to think that, oh Maharaj, bless me so I can say your name. Bless me so I can truly appreciate all these gifts in my life. And Maharaj will make the rest happen. Not only will they bless you with the ability to be grateful, but with that ability, they'll also take away all these karams from all of our lives. And they've said that in their Bani, which means it's a guarantee. And that takes us to why should we meditate? Why is Guru Sahib continuously telling us to do it? Because they're giving us this guarantee. They say, if you do this one thing, this is the outcome. This is what I'll do for you. They're showing us how beautiful it is. But then we need to ask that why is it something that we have to do now? Why is Maharaj putting so much urgency on now? Why are they telling us that our life is passing away, all day just taking over, and we're not meditating on the one? Because when we speak of karam, we said it's a pattern of actions. It's something that we continuously keep repeating. That's what makes a pattern, due to a specific energy. Which means that as soon as we start meditating, as soon as we walk on the spiritual journey, we come into Sikhi, we get blessed with Amrit. As soon as we do these steps, Maharaj is not saying that that's the end. They're not saying like that's the game itself. That, oh, take Amrit, that's the end. Sit down and do WhyGuru Simran today, that's the end. Maharaj is saying that's just the beginning. They tell us that the first rat, Pratham rat eh jaan khande ki paul. They tell us that the first thing that we have to do, we should do, is take khande baate di Amrit. They're telling us, why is it the first thing and not the last? Because that Amrit, or starting your spiritual journey, starting your Sikhi journey, sitting down 5 minutes a day to connect with yourself, to say Va, Maharaj is saying that's the beginning. That's like enrolling into a school. It's not your graduation. It's the day you sign up for university, or kindergarten for that matter. You still have your whole life where you then have to consciously put in the effort to break these karam. Karam, again, just your actions that you're repeating based off of this energy that's still flowing. Not the karam we speak about in Punjabi, because I still don't know what those are. So that's why Maharaj puts so much emphasis on now. Now is the time to take all the steps that you need to take. Now is the time to sit and jap naam. Now is the time to say, Guru Sahib, okay, I'm going to start doing Japji Sahib. I'm going to start keeping my case. I'm going to start taking steps to be even closer to you. I'm going to start coming to the Guru Card even more and more and more. I'm going to join with Sangat, and eventually you're going to bless me in whatever way suits you best. Why? Because as we take these steps, as we start this journey, is when we'll then break these karam, is when then we'll stop having this loop going on and on and on. Maharaj is saying, take the first step, put in that effort, say to Maharaj that you want to break the cycle, you don't want to keep repeating it, and they'll make it happen. Even when we get blessed with Amrit, we'll notice that we still have certain tendencies that we're more inclined towards. Let's say it's anger. Maharaj Kirpa, it reduces drastically, and I can say that from personal experience. They take half of it away just when they bless you with that Amrit, but the rest is a journey. It's a journey and not a destination. Doesn't mean the day you've taken Amrit, you've reached your end goal. Maharaj Kirpa Karan, it's possible. But typically, Maharaj will bless us and then guide us and tell us, okay, I've blessed you in order to take this step. Now you have to work on it consciously. They bless us to wake up every day. We have to consciously then say, I'll take 5 minutes out of this beautiful day that you blessed me with to remember you, to connect back with you. We have to put in the effort. We have to be conscious about what we're doing. When we feel that anger taking over us, we have to stop. No. What does Maharaj say? Farida bureda palakar, gussa manana handar. You need to remind yourself in that moment that Maharaj has said, no, I'm not going to be angry. Gussa manana handar, I'm not going to hold on to it in my head. Yes, I'm feeling angry, which is okay. It's an emotion, it's a feeling. But don't hold on to it. Feel it, don't react. Just tell yourself, okay, what you're experiencing is anger, but it will pass because it's not your nature. For anything, Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moh, Ahankara, Maharaj is saying, whatever the case, accept, understand that it's only a feeling, it's only temporary. Don't act out of it and don't hold on to it. Let it go. If you're upset, don't speak from that place. And then don't hold on to that sadness. Don't sit and cry the next day about something that happened yesterday. We have to learn to let go and be present. Because Maharaj is saying that's how we break this cycle. That's how we change our karam. This karmic energy that we're speaking about, that's how we change it. And that's how Maharaj makes the whole room burn. That's how Maharaj takes away all of our karam, because then our mind is not going to take us in that direction again. If you were angry and you started meditating, you started giving yourself 5 minutes a day to tell yourself that we don't hold on to anger, that's not what Guru Sahib says. In the moment where you're feeling that anger and you remind yourself, that means the next time a situation arises, you know how to control it, you know what to do. And that is Maharaj taking away your karam. It's not something that we sit and say, mere karam mare si. No, we have to consciously fix it. And now is the time. All the jat hai beet. Maharaj is saying, time's going. You need to do it now. Of course, we know Maharaj is the one who's going to make it happen. But here, Guru Sahib is speaking to us directly. They're speaking to our mind. And they're saying, tell your mind, you have to do it. And you have to do it now. Don't wait for tomorrow and don't cry about yesterday. They're basically telling us that we need to fix up. They're being blunt and they're telling us what needs to be done and the fact that we need to do it now. The next salok links very closely with this one because Maharaj is relaying again the same message but even stronger. They say, Bird payo suja nahi, kal pahuchayo an. Bird payo, bird, that bird avastha is old age. They say, so first they tell us that tarana poyo hi goyo, that your youth has just gone eddai, pata hi nahi lagya, it's already gone. Leo jara tana jeet. Now old age is coming upon this body and it's winning. Every day something else starts to hurt. Our eyes get weaker. Then we think, oh, I'll get glasses, that will fix the problem. Oh, I can't hear. You know, we start trying to fix the problem instead of understanding everything's happening for a reason. Now Maharaj is saying, in case you didn't understand then, let's understand now. That now we are old. We are older than we were a year ago. So they're saying accept it. That now, yes, we have become old. Suja nahi. What are we not understanding? They're saying we're not understanding something. But what is it? Kal pahuchayo an. That kal, death, is always hovering above us. Death doesn't know age, it doesn't know gender, death doesn't know anything, it doesn't discriminate. It doesn't say if you're young, I'm not going to come for you. If you're a girl, I'm not going to come for you. Death is above our head every single moment. It's here right now. We just don't know it. Suja nahi. We don't understand that it's right there. It's right there above everybody. Nobody is exceptional. Nobody is exempt. There's nobody who can say, I don't have death hanging over my head. It's different if we don't want to acknowledge it. It's different if we want to push it aside and say, oh, I'll deal with that in about 10, 20 years, you know, whenever I'm ready. But Guru Sahib will tell you otherwise. Because it's only going to happen when your Guru wants it to. We can't say, oh, Maharaj, I'm not ready, please, give me 10 more years. Give me, you know. We can't do that. So they're telling us, understand this. Understand that every second we're getting older and older and death is hanging over our head in every single minute, in every moment. Then they tell us, Kaho Nanak nar bavare. Here, Guru Sahib is so beautiful because they're telling us, again, speak to your mind. But what are you telling your mind? Bavare, you're crazy, you're insane. Maharaj is calling us mad. Why? Kyo na bhaja Bhagavan. They're telling us that isn't it foolishness that we're not meditating? If they've laid out the reality of this world and they've told us we're getting older and death is coming for us, then they're telling us, ask yourself, are you not crazy? Because we have to be crazy in order to not remember the one. And they say, Kaho Nanak nar bavare, kyo na bhaja Bhagavan. Nar is a human, bavare is a crazy one. Then they're asking us, Kyo na bhaja Bhagavan? They're asking us a question. Your Guru is speaking directly to you. They want an answer as to why we're not remembering them, why we're not meditating, why we're not putting that effort to connect to them. We sit and complain about things that happen to us. We sit and say we never want to come back, myself included. Ke Maharaj, let this be the janam, let me never come back again, fix everything now. But at the same time, we still don't want to take those 5 minutes. At the same time, every morning, I'm the one crying, Maharaj, Amritavella is so hard, I can't get up, it's so cold. But at the same time, I'm saying I never want to come back again. When I die, take me, let me merge, don't let me come back again. But still, I'm going to complain tomorrow morning. Maharaj, yesterday the program finished so late, I'm so tired, it's so cold. Why? Maharaj is asking us, Kyo na bhaja Bhagavan? Why do we let our mind take us everywhere else, take us to complaining, take us to distractions, taking us to justifying why we don't meditate instead of actually just doing it? We waste so much time thinking about doing it, but we don't do it. We think, oh, I need to do this in order for my Amrit Vela to be perfect. I need to sleep at this time. I need to drink this much water. And then you try and meet all those requirements, but then it doesn't work the next day and you're like, today, I'm going to sleep at this time. I'm going to do this. Instead of overthinking it, just do it. Instead of setting all these requirements that I have to sleep at this time, otherwise I can't wake up. I have to get these many hours. Instead of doing all of that, just leave it to Maharaj. Do your ardas and say, Maharaj, tusi aap hi jaga deo mainu. Please, you bless me, you wake me up. You allow me. Give me this gift so that I can appreciate you. And then sleep, beparwah hoke. Leave that worry with Maharaj. Sleep, get a good sleep, and Maharaj will wake you up. And then what do? We say thank you. Thank you for this very moment. Thank you for waking me up. And now I'm going to be conscious as to how I spend these breaths that you've given me, this day that you've blessed me with. You woke me up, I'm going to thank you. I'm going to sit down in your remembrance. I'm going to sit down and take 5 minutes to say thank you. Because it's your choice. You didn't have to wake me up. If we think of it like that, won't we appreciate this life a lot more than we do? Last time or the time before we said, Hira jaisa janam hai, kaudi badle jaye. Maharaj has given us this very precious jewel of a life. The fact that we're breathing right now is a jewel in itself. But what are we doing? Kaudi badle jaye. We're giving it away at the price of a shell. Why? Because we don't appreciate it. We look for every reason not to appreciate it. Maharaj is saying, just be present. Just truly be there, and you'll see for yourself how beautiful it is. And the more beauty we see in it, the more we connect with them. The more we're able to find instances where we can say, Va, just allow yourself to recognize that that is the presence of God. That Va on your lips is God. It's God, that one energy. That feeling from inside of, wow, this is amazing. You know how it makes you feel. You can't express it. I can't tell you, but you know exactly what I'm talking about. That is that Jod Sarup inside you. And the more you fuel that, the bigger it will be. The bigger that is, the less everything external will matter. The less that anger will come to you, because you can't have both. You can't have both. You can't have your home, your ego, your pride, your anger, your jealousy, your problems, and naam, that gratitude, that appreciation, in the same breath. It's not possible. You can't say, wow, this is so amazing, but I'm so angry. It's not possible. If you're angry, it's not amazing. If it's amazing, you can't be angry. Because then what are you being angry at? If it truly is amazing, you can't be sad. If you're sad, we're missing something. Most of the time, it's something we haven't gotten, again, external, for the senses, for these panchachor. But then Guru Sahib tells us that 10 bastu le Parchar paava, ek bast karan bikhot gavava, ek pee na de, 10 pee hir le, fir mura kaho kaha kare. They tell us that they've given us 10 things. And this is my beinti to you. I did this earlier today and I 100% recommend it. When you go home today, take a piece of paper and write down 10 things that you're super grateful for. Only 10. It's hard. 10 things that you're super grateful for. It could be anything. Just write it down on a piece of paper and see how that makes you feel. So Maharaj is saying, 10 bastu le Parchar paava. He's given you these 10 beautiful things. What have we done? We've picked it and we've put it behind our back. Parchar paava. Ek bast, that one thing they haven't given us, karan bikhot gavava. We're stressed about that one thing. We've forgotten these 10 things because it's now behind our back, and we're so fixated on that one. Whatever it is, it's eating at us. Oh, Maharaj, you didn't give me this again today and today. I just want this one thing. I'm not asking for much. But what about all these 10 things he's given you? Ek pee na de. He says, I'm not going to give you this one thing. 10 pee hirle, and I'll also take these 10 as well. Then what will you do? When you go home and you write down these 10 things that you're super grateful for, and you write down that one thing that you're crying for, and Maharaj tells you, because I'm the one in charge, because I have the power, if I take away these 10 things, and I also don't give you this one thing you're crying for, what will you do? That's literally what they're asking us in that pankti. They're calling us mura, again, foolish. What will you do? They're questioning us. Straight up, they're saying, what are you going to do about it? In that way, what they're doing is shifting our mindset. Instead of crying for this one thing, first appreciate the 10 that you have. If it's already behind your back, bring it to the front. Appreciate all the 10 that you have, and then even your mang for that ek will be different. That one thing you think you really, really want, your whole perspective will change. Even how you ask for it will change. You'll say, Maharaj, you've given me all of this and I'm so grateful for it. It's so beautiful. And this would also be nice as well, if you think so. It won't be like, oh Maharaj, I only wanted one thing. I'm not even asking for much. Your whole perspective will change. I do 100% recommend it. Go home and write down 10 things that you're truly, truly grateful for. And sit with those things and go into that moment of losing it. Think about how you'll feel when you lose those 10. It hurts, it will, but that's the purpose. And then ask yourself this question of how important is that one thing? Or is it more important for me to be grateful for these 10? And in that moment, what you're doing is answering Maharaj's question of Kaho Nanak nar bavare. You'll say, yes, Maharaj, I truly am foolish. I truly am crazy because I put these 10 away. And then when Maharaj says, Kyo na paja Bhagavan, then you will. Because you'll say, wow, thank you so much for A, B, C, D, so on and so forth. In that moment, you will be meditating. Not traditionally by saying WhyGuru, but you'll be in a different meditation, because we said in order to meditate, you need to be grateful. It has to come from a point of gratitude. And this little exercise will bring so much gratitude into your life. Maharaj then, in a different Bani, they speak more about the last pankti that we went through, when they say, Je jarvana parhara, jarves kare di aya. This is in Asa Divar. So we'll listen to it and it sounds really beautiful, but what Maharaj is truly saying is that if you remove these signs of old age, Je Jarvana Parhara, if you try and take away these signs of old age, like we're hearing less, our eyes are working less, our gode are hurting, your back is probably hurting, mine is. They say if you try and push away these things, Jarves kare di aya, it will change its form and come to you. As what? As death. That the old age, the more we push it away, we color our face, our beard, the things we're not supposed to be doing in order to look younger, Maharaj says then that, the more we push it away, it will finally come to us in the form of death. Korahana pariya pariya. Nobody stays when it's time for them to go. When time's up, there's nothing we can do to stay. No matter how young we try and be. Again, this is not to bring the mood down or to have like a dull mood. It's to say that now is the time. It's to recognize that death is right round the corner, but it's not something we have to cry about. It's that we have to understand now is the time. Everything you want to do, do it now. Don't start thinking. Don't let that anxiety hold you back. If you feel like you want to do Chaur Sahib Di Seva, now is your chance. Literally just get up, wash your hands and go take the Chaur Sahib. Do it now. If we do need to think, then think the next time I come, I'm definitely going to do it. But again, Maharaj is telling us now. Now is the time. If there's anything that you want to do in order to make you a better individual, to help you progress on this journey, and I say journey because it is, that's what Maharaj has taught us today, that it's a journey. A journey means it's a path that we have to follow. It's not the end, it's just the beginning. We have to take steps, we have to keep moving forward. Now is the time to tell your mind and say it in front of Guru Sahib. That Maharaj, this is what I'm going to do. You can close your eyes and you can say it in your heart. But if you feel like there's something, take today as Maharaj saying it's now. There is no yesterday, there is no tomorrow. It is now. And since Maharaj has told us 4 times, and they've even told us, Kyo na bajai Bhagwan, they've even questioned us, I think it's only right for us to take the next minute or 2 as we finish up to actually say WhyGuru. So we'll split it into the 4 akkar, and let's really try and be present and feel the beauty in this moment, because the energy here is amazing. WhyGuru. So I just want to leave you in that very beautiful space. please carry it home with you and do the little exercise. Please forgive all my mistakes. I know I've made countless, and please bless me so that I can do better next time. Lekha katahana chutiya khen khen pulanahar baksanahar baksala nanak pare utar. WhyGuru Ji Ka Khalsa, WhyGuru Ji Ki Fateh. So I just have two announcements. As I mentioned, it's a Laliwal Katha, so it will carry on next week as well. Next week we have by Amandeep Singh Ji, who will be carrying on the 5th Salok. And then we have Chorus Club on the 11th of February. So please, a beinti to all the Bibiya, all the girls, please come. It's a really beautiful space. And we'll be speaking about Mata Gujar Kaur Ji. So really looking forward to that. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, we'll do it on side now. And again, Benti from last week as well. Please join in. If not, then from the next time I come, I'm going to have to start doing one pankti myself and then one pankti from you as well. Satnam Sri WhyGuru Sahib Jiyo Ram Kali Mahalla Tija Nand Ek Oankar Sat Gur Prasad Anand Pe Avneri Mae Sat Guru Ma Paya Sat Gur Ta Paya Sahaj Seti Man Vajya Vadaiya राग रतन परवार परिया शब्द गावण आया शब्दोता गाव हो हरि केरा मन जिनी वसाया कहा नानक आनंद होआ सतगुरु मैं पाया ए मन मेरेया तू सदा रहो हर नाल रहो तू मन मेरे दुख सब विसारना अंगीकार ओहो करे तेरा कारज सब सवारना सबना गल्ला समरथ स्वामी सो क्यों मन हो विसारे कहा नानक मन मेरे सदा रहो हर नाले साचे साहिबा क्या नहीं कार तेरा कारता तेरा सब किछ है जिस देह सो पावे सदा सिफ्त सलाह तेरी नाम मन वसावे नाम जिनका मन वसया वाजे शब्द कनेरे कहा नानक सच्चे साहिब क्या नहीं कार तेरा साचा नाम मेरा आधारो साच नाम आधार मेरा जिन भुखा सब गवाइया कर शांत सुख मन आए वसया जिन इच्छा सब पुजाइया सदा कुर्बान कीता गुरु बिटहा जिस दिया एह वड्याइया कहा नानक सुन हो संत हो शब्द धर हो प्यारो साचा नाम मेरा आधारो वाजे पंच शब्द तित कर सुभागा शब्द वाजे कला जित कर तारिया पंच दूत तुद वस कीते काल कंटक मारिया तुर कर्म पाया तुद जिन को से नाम हर का लागे कहा नानक तह सुख होआ तित कर अनहद वाजे अनद सुन हो वड भागी हो सगल मनोरथ पूरे पार ग्रहम प्रभ पाया उतरे सगल वसूरे दुख रोग संताप उतरे सुनी सच्ची बाणी संत साजन भय सरसे पूरे गुर ते जानी सुनते पुनीत कहते पवित सतगुर रहया भर पूरे बिनवंत नानक गुर चरण लागे वाजे अनहद तूरे सुनते पुनीत कहते पवित सतगुर रहया भर पूरे बिनवंत नानक गुर चरण लागे वाजे अनहद तूरे सलोक पवन गुरु पाणी पिता माता धरत महत दिवस रात दोए दाई दाया खेला सगल जगत चंगे आया बुरे आया वाचा धर्म हजूर कर्मी आपो आपनी के नेड़ा के दूर ਜਿਨੀ ਨਾਮ ਧਿਆਇਆ ਗਏ ਮਸਕਤ ਕਾਲ, ਨਾਨਕ ਤੇ ਮੁਖ ਉਜਲੇ ਕੀਤੀ ਛੁੱਟੀ ਨਾਲ। ਜਿਨੀ ਨਾਮ ਧਿਆਇਆ ਗਏ ਮਸਕਤ ਕਾਲ, ਨਾਨਕ ਤੇ ਮੁਖ ਉਜਲੇ ਕੀਤੀ ਛੁੱਟੀ ਨਾਲ। ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ, ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ।
ਕਹੋ ਨਾਨਕ ਸਭ ਤੇਰੀ ਵਡਿਆਈ।